welcome back to another Get Ready With Me. I'm just gonna start by going all in and getting straight to the point. What is so hard about today? I've had a great Thanksgiving weekend. I had a lot of time to myself just to do the things that I want to do. And I'm lonely because this is my first Christmas that I'm going to have without my spouse. I've deployed, he's deployed 3 times, so we've done the deployment, thing. But I think it's different, especially when, your life is changing and you have more responsibilities now. Well, maybe you don't, but I do, than when I was younger. So I'm not quite sure what makes this deployment harder than all the others, but it absolutely feels like it's harder than all the others. So I've just been really trying to do things that are healthy. And one of those things was putting up the Christmas tree. Even though I really don't feel like it, I know. Ow. Oh, that stings when that happens. I know my kids are very appreciative of it. My 7-year-old just stared at it for about 30 seconds and went upstairs because he's weird like that. The 5-year-old thinks that today is Christmas because there's a tree up today. So, I'm having to navigate that cuteness. And, he saw the shredded needles on the ground and he called them tree crumbs, which is, so cute. And, those are things that I would never experience if I didn't at least go through the motions of trying to celebrate, even when I don't really feel like celebrating. Because there's a pretty significant advantage to mental health when you have routines and traditions that are meaningful to you, even when you suffer. If you can find meaning in those things, it keeps a little perspective and it keeps a little hope. Speaking of perspective, someone I know lost a child to suicide, and despite the fact that my kids aren't going to school, despite the fact that one of them's autistic, well, 2 of them are autistic, but only one of them gives me trouble. I'm very blessed and very fortunate to have them in my life. And I want to show them the coping skills and coping mechanisms that I hope they have as they get older, especially for my autistic daughter, because I've had that experience growing up. I experienced that loneliness and isolation and that depression that ensues, and I don't want her to have to go through that before she realizes that she's fine the way she is and that, other people are the problem. And that's, a lot to kind of have hanging over me this holiday season when I feel like I should feel grateful, but should's my trigger word, right? I'm like, why should I? Who's out there saying that I need to feel grateful? So I've actually been doing some light research, mostly auxiliary to what I read about in school, related to gratitude. And gratitude was never meant to be grateful for the things that were hard. Gratitude was never meant to be toxic positivity. It was never meant to be an affirmation that was something like, you go girl, today is hard but tomorrow will be sunny. And that's not life. Sometimes today is hard and yesterday was hard and tomorrow is hard. That's absolutely a valid 3-day track. So my kids are screaming because they're watching K-pop Demon Hunters for the 1000th time, but I don't care. As far as movies go, it's actually so much more wholesome than a lot of things that are being released on the market. I really like how they turned a hokey plot. Music saves the world, but it doesn't feel hokey. There's genuine, authentic moments in it. It's like My Little Pony, but it doesn't make you want to vomit. And I've seen my fair share of My Little Pony as well. But going back to the point, true gratitude is about finding the small things that you can be grateful for. So if you do lose your child, if you do miss your husband, if you are experiencing a loss in your life, you're not going to be grateful for that. No one has to come along and paint a silver lining on your cloud. You don't have to let that happen. It's okay to not feel okay. no one feels okay 100% of the time, and expecting anything more, expecting perfection, is that is what I define as toxic positivity. And so I am trying to embrace that. I'm very fresh today, so I'm going with a really bright pink. I want to put forth in the world the happiness that I can without necessarily expecting me to be happy all the time about everything. Like, I'm taking a vacation after Christmas and I'm going to go see my in-laws for the holidays. That is something to be grateful for. Does it have anything to do with missing my husband? No. Does it mean that it makes life easier? No, I still miss him. But there's gratitude in something else. I can help balance that out and help maintain perspective. The best definition, I probably say this in multiple videos because I love it, but the best definition of mental health is being able to take into account your situation, the other person's situation, well, I guess perspective on the situation, and then the situation in and of itself. And that is a healthy perspective. So I do have things in my life that I'm grateful for, and just maintaining that fitness, maintaining, it is fitness. It's like a routine of fitness, mental resilience and physical fitness. I'm still going to the gym, right? I cut out caffeine. Today is my first day in years. I don't even know that I haven't had caffeine. Like, I'm just kicking that, saying I don't like being dependent on the things that I don't have to be dependent on. Like, there's things that I choose to bring into my life, and caffeine's not one of them. So that feels really, really cool to actually be able to work on other goals and have other achievements, even though my spouse isn't here to celebrate me. Although I did send him a photo today of me drinking a glass of water just to prove to him that I wasn't lying, because I'm not sure he believed me. Also really cool today, I have my Reefer brushette, it's Reefer apparently. I was finally able to get into the concept pricing, so I have to like leave a review and let the company know what they can improve and stuff as part of their concept program. But just getting a set of nice brushes when I've been needing a decent set for a couple of years now is also something to be grateful for. And I'm really grateful that Reefer has this program, because otherwise, I was never going to be able to afford a full set of natural hair brushes, which are less dense. Well, the density doesn't range as much as I was expecting. Like, I have some very dense synthetic and some very loose synthetic, and these are all a little bit mid-toned, mid-density. But that being said, I take pretty good care of my brushes, so I'm really excited to have something nicer, and they are like blending really well. But I'm gonna have to experiment and make sure I get some shimmers down and make sure I use all the brush shapes and stuff, and come back to you and let you know how I like them. But so far, I really like them, and I like the handles. They're wood, but they're lightweight, which is also pretty nice. Now, I'm not exactly sure what I'm supposed to be doing for my eye makeup today. I started with pink because I'm feeling pink, but I'm very neutral. I think I'm going to do pink and green. And the reason is I got my graph paper today. You can't even see it. This is the MAC. I had no idea how to draw that out, so that's what that one looks like. But these are all my palettes. So creams, liquids, singles, and quads, a couple 9 pans, and basically all of my smaller things that I'll just get thrown together in a drawer. I'm going to pan those first. Oh, I've definitely lost a lot of these Lethal Cosmetics are delicate, and they got thrown around a little bit in the drawer. It sucks. I honestly think Lethal Cosmetics is a little bit more expensive than some other brands. Like, the quality is not bad at all. It's very good, but so are other brands. Like, they are an indie brand, but they're not the indie brand for me, which is really interesting because they're kind of cool. But I guess I'm just not meant to be a cool kid. And I'm fine. I'm not gonna like be butthurt. They don't make every brand isn't gonna be your cup of tea. I'm actually relieved when I don't like a brand because I'm like, oh god, fine, I get to save money. I'm also glad I have a nair brush. I can finally do my under eyes. I don't like to smoke my under eyes out because I have pretty deep under eye circles. So I tend to keep my under eye makeup a little close to the eyeball itself. But also I've been experimenting with just like not caring. Because like I did my wrinkle makeup thing where I actually highlighted my wrinkles. I thought that was like a really cute trend. It's kind of over on Instagram, but it's still playing out on YouTube really well. And it was fun, and I actually wore it outside. I'm like, it was not meant to be worn at all, but there we go, I did, and it looked great. So I'm like, wouldn't you know, my best performing video celebrated my weaknesses versus, it's not even a weakness, it's just like your physical appearance, just like celebrating your physical appearance just really, really worked. And I don't know what I'm doing here for like a transition color, so I'm just keep playing around. I'm just gonna keep talking and playing until my makeup gets to a point that I like, and then I'm gonna do one more thing that's too much and just keep going, because that's the fun of it. That's the experimentation. It's never quite being done. I'm playing with color here versus shape, but I'm also okay with that. Or maybe I don't. Maybe I do play with shape a little more. I need to start playing a little bit more out here to kind of get myself a nicer shape. Making sure it's a little lifted and such. And just keep going back and building it with a pink. And like realistically, I have so much eyeshadow. Is that not like a greatness in and of itself? I did the math. I have enough eyeshadow to last me till I think I was already into my 70s and I've bought more. So I'm 100%, if I never bought eyeshadow again, it would last me till death. So I'm pretty sure I'm okay. Like, that is one more thing to be grateful for, that I can sit here, record a video, all my kids are entertained, all my ducks in a row, I'm getting an A in my schoolwork, and I'm still lonely. I am still lonely. It does not change the fact that I miss my husband, and he's not even halfway through. I think we're getting close to the halfway point of his deployment. That doesn't have to change, but I can find solace and I can find comfort in the things that I'm able to do without him, such as like record a video at 1 in the afternoon. It's actually closer to 2 now. And just kind of like, it's hard, but I'm kind of killing it. And I do think I need one more shade. I need some sort of like glimmer topper shade. I know, I'll use the Green Moon Crystal. Yeah. Use way too much of the Green Moon Crystal. That's what I said, right? Too much? Just tap that on, and that'll be super green. And this one's a little bit darker and bluer, so it'll be a really good transition. I've never really loved this stuff, which I suppose is why I still have it after 3 years, I think. I was just talking about like good Korean movie over there with K-pop demon hunters, but this is not an example of good Korean makeup. It's just lackluster for me. But I think that that's adding a really pretty soft gradient into the matte, which I was kind of lacking. And I think this is going to be fun. And I can go back and I can check off 4 shades and my single off of my Leave No Pan Left Behind challenge, which I'm starting today because I showed you my graph paper earlier. So that's going to be really fun. Very motivated to figure that out and find out how long it takes me to use every shadow. I'm not going to be able to use many of them more than once at all. Okay, I'm going to build my blush. I like the red flush I have. It just needs a little more intensity, so I'm adding some purple. And this one's going to be a little softer and balmier, so I'm keeping it saturated higher. Accentuated higher. And it looks a little bright right now, but as soon as I go over that with powder, it's going to get all blended out and softened, and it's not going to be as intense. So I'm going to do that right now. I thought I was going to use one size, but I have a Kosas that I'm trying to pan, so I'll just do that. And then I also have to decide what to do for my under eye. A dark red would work. I don't have a dark red. A green will work. I actually don't have a green, which is embarrassing. I need one. This is a pink powder, and I know, like, a lot of you are like, why are you using pink all over your face? I'm like, well, I'm so pink with my complexion and undertone. It actually is really flattering me all over my face. And I have done, like, a pink under the eyes and, like, a skin tone everywhere. Honestly, just kind of like the look of a pink everywhere. But obviously a translucent finishing powder would do better. Kosas is a little, I don't know if it's supposed to be a setting or a finishing powder. It feels a little bit more like a setting because it's very cakey and very matte, but it's still very high quality. I really don't know what I'm doing with my bottom lashes still. I have to think about it and just like rely on the internet to like bail me out. It's like, oh, you did that wrong. You should have done this. Which is always okay when it's like comments. All the comments that I've had have been so wonderful and positive. I feel really grateful that I'm getting the chance to do this. Because I know, like, a lot of people don't. Especially if it doesn't align with their creative vision. Stop it. Stop it. My skin's so loose there. I was telling it to stop it, like... Did it listen? No, it did not. Like, if I think about the fact that I'm able to do this in the camera with my left hand. Wait, no, that's my right hand. Whoops! I promise I know my left from my right. I learned that in kindergarten. Like, that's pretty cool. And, you know, it's not something you think about, but something to be grateful for. The fact that I'm close enough to the mirror that I can do this without my glasses on, so I can actually do my eye makeup. I mean, that's something to be grateful for. Like, there's like thousands of like little things that you can practice gratitude-wise that aren't toxic. And it literally, and this is where some of the research comes in, it does change your chemistry. You are literally priming your mind to look for positive things. You are literally more likely to have a growth mindset if you have a gratitude practice. I'm trying to remember some other things about it, but I like gratitude because, like, you know, your brain's not great at having multiple thoughts at the same time. So, like, if I'm actively saying, like, oh, I'm grateful for this, and I'm putting a thought in my head, that follow-on thought of, like, oh, but this isn't good enough, or I'm not earning enough, or I'm insecure about this, like, whatever it is that I'm insecure about, for many years was this giant ass nose, and now I'm like, this is my nose. Why would I change it? Why? Those things have now gone away, and it's just been replaced with the active thought you have in your head. And now you can obviously return to a negative thought. Like, that's always an option. But it doesn't have to be. And the more practiced you get, the less automatic those negative thoughts get. And that's a really, really beautiful thing. When you're able to wake up in the morning and just kind of not hate yourself. Or, like, you can still hate yourself, but hate yourself a little less. It reminds me of I can't remember where I saw it, but the question posed was, if you could have $500, but the person you hate the most could have $1,000, would you still take the money? And the top response was, yes. Why wouldn't I want to have $1,500? And that absolutely reminds me of myself with myself some days, like where I'm not really having the relationship with my accomplishments and skills and, you know, love that I bring to the world. Um, like just the other day, I was commenting on like how my 5-year-old is just like glued to me. Whatever room I'm in, he wants to be in. If I'm sitting down, he is cuddled up next to me. He is like physically touching me. And I'm just like, wow, what a healthy relationship for the 5-year-old to have, to not even comprehend that, like, that's not what his mother's for. And just to want that care and connection. And it does not last forever. I have a 15-year-old who sometimes I don't see. Like I check on him. I'm like, you're home, right? So like recognizing, I'm like, oh, I am full of love. Like I am the person I want to be. Like I am worthy of being on this earth and taking up space. And no, I'm not a millionaire. Most people aren't. But we're still like entitled. And entitled is the right word. We are entitled to life here. That's kind of amazing and beautiful too. Soft pink lip today. So I'm really happy about that. Like, even though I'm lonely, like the agency that I have is so much better than what it used to be. And like the control that I have over automatic thoughts is getting a lot better. I didn't even know until like way earlier this year, but almost a year ago, that I actually had intrusive thoughts. I thought like the way that I thought was absolutely normal, and my therapist was kind of like, no, but we can work on that. And I was like, oh, dang it. And actually took very little work on them, because like once you recognize you have them, you're like, oh, that's so much better. And because I kind of found out in a very like normal and not shaming environment, that was also a lot better. Also, my therapist thought like my thoughts I was having were quite humorous. She was like, what do you really have against chihuahuas? And I'm like, what do you mean? And she's like, in all of these, you kill a chihuahua. It's like, that's a little. She's like, not worrisome, but it's unique. And I'm like, no. The chihuahua's an innocent bystander. She was like, still, it's a little weird. And I've never actually killed a chihuahua. In case any of you are wondering, but I have been bitten by one, so that's probably why I don't like them. Which is a story for a different day. Me getting bit by a chihuahua, and then like having to quarantine the dog, because of course I was pregnant, and they need to know if I need to have rabies shots, but they don't test rabies shots on pregnant women, because that seems an actual good example of when not to test something on women. But this is the finished look. This is really pretty today. I'm really happy that I'm doing this No Pan Left Behind, because this is not a look I would have done reaching into that drawer. So I'll keep you updated, and I'll see you later. Bye.